It is Monday, November 18th, 2024. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, along for the ride as well. Before we start diving headfirst into baseball, did you watch the fight on Friday?
I did. I was at home with the family. Actually, my son Teddy was interested in it. He wanted Mike Tyson to win, but I think you know what you're going to get when you're watching something like that. The women's fight before it was
Awesome.
incredible, and that made up for the rest of the card. But yeah,
Did it?
you got to know what you're going to get. The people that thought that Mike Tyson was going to come in there at 58 years old and knock Jake Paul, that's crazy talk. Everyone, you got to understand like what's going on here, people. Come on.
Do you think it was fixed?
It's not fixed. I mean, it's not fixed, but Jake Paul could have knocked Mike Tyson out in the first round if he wanted to, and I think he understood that it's not good business-wise to do that.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't treat it like a regular sporting event. As much as they want to say that's what it was, you just have to treat it as a television or streaming event. So that's all. That's all.
Yeah.
Just go in with certain expectations and you won't be disappointed.
Genius marketing,
Absolutely.
100%. I mean, that tugged on all the heartstrings of all, especially guys your age, like Mike Tyson, no.
No, it's more than just my age, but it is interesting to listen to people. For people that did not experience Mike Tyson, it was an event back in the. It was incredible because he was the baddest motherfucker on the planet, and it was not close. I remember the first time I ever met him. He came on Best Damn, and we were taking a break, like a 5-minute mandated break right before he came on, and I had never met him, and he was really good friends with John Sally because they grew up in the same neighborhood. So I walk out the door just to head to the bathroom, and there he is, and he stares at me right in my eyes, and I felt like I turned to stone. I was like, holy shit, please don't kill me. And he came on the show, and he was great. Interesting. All right, can we talk some baseball now? Yes, we can. That's the answer. Juan Soto expected to meet with the New York Yankees on Monday in Southern California. Already broke bread with the Red Sox, apparently with the Blue Jays, and had a wonderful meeting with the New York Mets, we are hearing. Now, here's something interesting. Hector Gomez, who's an MLB insider, he reported that former Major Leaguer Carlos Baerga, who's nailed a few things over the years, says that the Mets offered Soto $660 million. Now, let's just play the game of, if that is indeed accurate, how close do you think the Yankees have to get to that number in order to keep Soto?
I don't think they get close to it, Chris. I think if that's a real number, I think he's going to the Mets. That's what I think. I don't think there's any team that's going to come close to that. Now, here's the thing. That number has to be a deferred number, right? If that's the real number and it's just paid out over the 13, 14 years the contract is going to be, nobody's coming close to that. They're just not. So if it's deferred, then I'll say that the Yankees can match it. And there's going to be other teams that are going to be at that level. And then we're going to be talking about these deferred contracts and what do they mean for the sport and all these things. But if that's a straight up, 13, 14 years at close to $50 million a year, then nobody's matching. And he's going to go be a New York Met. That is my take 100% on this.
Okay, but what if that's a deferred number? Do the Yankees have to match it to keep Soto, or can they get within $40 million and you think he'll still stay in the Bronx?
Okay. So if they're both deferred, Mets offer $660. What do the Yankees have to offer? Essentially, that's the question.
Do they have to go dollar for dollar?
I don't think they'll have to go dollar for dollar. I think he would prefer, and again, I don't know this. I haven't talked to Juan Soto about it, but in my mind, he liked playing there, and they wouldn't have to go $660. I could see, if it was $40 million might be a little too much, if I'm being honest. And your psyche for like, wait, this team wants me $40 million more? Why can't you guys do that? So I think maybe they'd have to be within $20 million. That's kind of where my head's at.
Well, people will say, well, Aaron Judge got offered $400 million by the Padres, and I believe there was an extra year thrown in there. So there was a $40 million difference, and he turned that down to stay in New York. Here's the difference. Aaron Judge only knows one way of life, and that is the New York Yankees way of life. Juan Soto knows what it's like to be a Washington National. He knows what it's like to be a San Diego Padre.
Mhm.
And you know what he knows the least? What it's like to be a New York Yankee. And I'm sure he thoroughly enjoyed it. The people loved him. It
And he
is
won a World
seeming
Series somewhere else. Like,
he
this
did.
isn't like
Right. And so for people to say, oh, of course he wants to stay a Yankee, we don't know how he is prioritizing things. Um, Juan Soto has accomplished so much by 26 years old that he has earned every right that if he strictly wants to go to the highest bidder, go for it. And I'm not going to look at him any differently because I know that he's going to give us a great effort and he's going to still wow us, whether that's in New York with the Yankees, whether it's in Los Angeles with the Dodgers, whether it's in Queens with the Mets or Boston with the Red Sox or Toronto with the Blue Jays. I'm going to feel like I get the most out of watching him. But I don't think that he's going to go I don't think he's going to say, "Hey, you know what? I'll take 40 million less." I just do not see that playing out.
agreed. I mean, when you're worth that much and you're saying, "Look what I did for your franchise last year. Look what I did for the organization. I brought like he brought them to the World Series." There's no doubt about it. Without him, they do not make the World Series. He was the difference maker. And so yeah, if they offer him $40 million less, he'll be like, "You can't over the course of 14 years drum up 40 million extra to meet what this team is offering me," then I think he does leave. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there was another guy in Trey Turner who I believe was offered more money by the San Diego Padres. He wanted to head back east in part because of his wife's family, I believe. And so he wanted to play on the East Coast. And all that makes sense. And by the way, Juan Soto might have some of those thoughts too. He might have a specific part of the country where he
Yeah.
wants to play.
If
Who
that's
knows?
660, no deferrals, he's going to the Mets. Nobody's matching that.
Wouldn't you love I think these teams would be smart to film the pitch and put it out there. Don't you think that, like, maybe a few months later it comes out? Let's say that he ends up signing with
Oh,
the
if
New
he
York
you
Mets.
put it out there if he actually signs with you. If he doesn't
Yes.
sign with you, you throw
Oh,
that
no,
thing
no,
in the
no.
trash and burn it. Yeah.
No, no, that thing doesn't see the light of day. That thing's getting, sent on a rocket ship and going into outer space. But yeah, I think I'd put, more content, put it together. What do you
Yeah.
what do you think
You'd have to ask Juan Soto, like, "Hey, can we film this?"
what do you think Steve Cohen said to him? Do you think he's just said, "Hey, look." By the way, did you see Cohen's comment where he said that he treats the Mets like they're a philanthropic exercise,
I
essentially?
love that. I love that. I mean, it is. It's, in a way, you're providing, emotional relief for people and an outlet.
I think it was also along the lines of that they're a financial charity case, like, that's how I'm treating it when I spend my money, that I that to me, that was kinda weird.
Well, he can choose to spend his money however he wants. I
Yeah.
don't think he's going to end up losing money on this deal. I just don't ever see that. So I'm just saying, you can say what you want, but franchise values rise a lot.
Well, you saw the little banner in there earlier. Why don't you leave a comment on what Juan Soto do you think is what's going to happen with him? Do you think that the Yankees have to match dollar for dollar, or can they get within 30 or 40 million? And the
You
draw of playing with Aaron Judge is good enough.
you said this, I think it was last episode, 2 episodes ago, whatever it was. The draw of the Yankees isn't what people always think it is. It's
Oh,
just not, dude. Like hey, guess what? Some people don't want to live in New York,
right.
or some people don't hold the Yankees on this pedestal. This isn't 1998, people. Like like it's a new world out there where it's shrunk essentially, and you don't have to be in a massive market to get big deals. You don't. Like,
Yeah.
the internet has changed all that. Social media has changed all of that. So, you know, I I know that the Yankees are still held in a high regard, but
Mhm.
it's not end all be all. It's just not.
Well, and I've heard though from a lot of players that they do treat you differently, that it is a totally different experience. But yes, New York is not for everybody. I love visiting. Some people can't
I
stand it.
love New
I,
York.
yeah, some people can't stand it, just like they
Me
can't
in the
stand
city
LA or
walking
San
around.
Francisco.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a great vibe. It's a great energy. I imagine that playing for a team like that is beloved so much and there's so much pressure to do well is somewhat jarring and exhilarating and, you know, reeks of every emotion. So we'll see. It's going to be a ton of fun. You know what else gets the blood boiling around here at John Boy Media? Blitzball Battle 5 as we are winding down the regular season. Another game is coming your way on Tuesday night. Blitzball Battle 5, a pair of winless teams going at it, trying to avoid playing in that loser's bracket, if you will. Team Baggage has never beaten Del Caribe. How are they going to get it done later today?
Well, I think they gained a lot of confidence in their last matchup despite the loss. One thing you can take with absolute certainty is somebody's leaving with a win from this one.
So Baggage hit the ball exceptionally well. They came up on the short end of the stick in their first game of the season. Del Caribe did not get a single hit against Forgotten Rotten.
Different matchup here today.
If we go back to every single tournament played in the warehouse, I think I've taken Team Baggage at every game they've played. They do not want that skunk patch.
I don't think I've got one right so far, so I'm going to go ahead and pick Del Caribe.
Why not?
Just to help you out, Kels, so that way everybody's happy.
I got Team Baggage. Stupidly, I picked them to win the entire tournament. I don't know what it is. I think I'm a moron. We will see later today. We continue Blitzball Battle 5. I'll take it a step further. I know I'm a moron.
Yes, you are a moron.
I know I'm a moron. We'll see you in the chat Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Those have been a ton of fun so far. Here's something fun. Ken Rosenthal from The Athletic reporting that the Reds and Royals are talking about former Florida Gator teammates being traded for one another. Jonathan India would go from Cincinnati to Kansas City in exchange for pitcher Brady Singer. Which team and fan base would be more excited for that possibility?
Okay, that's a different caveat to the question. The team, like the fan base that would be more excited would probably be the Royals because I feel like they want to keep the momentum going. They want to add more players. They want to get better offensively. They want to plug in a leadoff hitter in front of Bobby Witt Jr. that, kind of has a track record. And can you imagine? I mean, the sex appeal of Bobby Witt Jr. and Jonathan India up the middle is off the freaking charts. So I think the fan base that would be happier will probably be the Royals. But I think it's a better fit for the Reds. India's days were kind of numbered there already. I wanted them to extend him and let him be that veteran presence, but they have a guy McLean that could go over there and just take his spot right away. They can add to, a young rotation, stabilize that, add depth to it. If you add Brady Singer to that rotation, you're talking about, I think Nick Martinez just accepted the qualifying offer.
He did.
So you got Abbott, you got Lodolo, you got Hunter Green, you got Rhett Lauder. All of a sudden you got a full-on deep rotation there. We're hoping the Reds can figure it out offensively and get these guys all kind of like going together in one period, like get the injuries off, get the PED stuff off, and get them going back to where we think they can be. So I think for the team fit, it's more for the Reds. But I honestly think it benefits both these teams pretty equally.
Singer threw almost 30 more innings than the next closest Cincinnati Red. So they need a guy, and it's interesting. He went from his 2023 season, which I think was his worst in baseball, to arguably his best last year. He's never been a huge strikeout guy. So he's not Hunter Green in that territory. But, I think he would make a huge impact, at least in terms of giving them innings and giving them stability every 5 days out on the mound, which is something that they've searched for. They've got this really talented young rotation, but none of them can stay healthy. Hunter Green can't keep his lunch down. So, maybe that'll help him a little bit. I think Jonathan India to Kansas City is fascinating because it gives them another guy. What do you hear about him? What's the first thing out of teammates' mouths in Cincinnati is what a great leader he has turned into, even though he's only played 4 seasons at the major league level. I think that beyond Salvador Perez, they can use another guy, a guy out there who's a bit of a grinder. And you mentioned he's got a good on-base percentage in his career, right around 360, which is solid. That is something they did not have in Kansas City in front of Bobby Witt. In fact, according to the Athletic article, Witt hit with nobody on base 433 times, which was the most in baseball season ago. That's not good enough when your best dude is coming up and he looks out there. He's like, damn.
Yeah.
Looks kind of barren.
No, I like the fit. I like it for both sides. I do. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I hope that there's something. Trades are fun. Trades are fun. And by the way, trades can also work out for both teams.
Yeah, these are established players, so like you kind of know what you're getting. This isn't a trade. Hey, we're gonna trade for these prospects, and we'll see you 5 years down the road, maybe. You know exactly what you're getting with both of these guys. So if it fits, like you said, the Reds need some rotation stability, and the Royals need a guy that they can plug in the leadoff spot. And yeah, I think Michael Massey. I liked watching him play last year. Played a lot of second base for the Royals, and I thought he's very serviceable, but maybe it allows him to go somewhere else, different role, and you plug in India, like you said, with the on-base percentage at the top of the lineup, and maybe that offense goes even more than it did.
All right, so we're a handful of weeks away from the holiday season. You're probably thinking, God dang it, I have no idea what to get certain people in my life. I know what you can. MOVA globes right here. They make rotating globes that are constantly in motion and powered by ambient light. I got to tell, they're interesting because the first time I ever brought it up to my office, I sat it down and it started spinning, kind of like what it's doing right now. And I feel like I sat and just stared at it for 8 minutes. It like wipes away whatever issues I'm having on a given day. I take a deep breath. It's almost like therapy inside of a globe. It's got hidden magnets that provide movement, so there's no batteries, there's no messy cords, as you can see. It's available in over 40 designs. That includes all 30 major league teams. It's got world map and outer space and famous artwork if you're into that. It's an official MLB partner, so MOVA is proud to present this unique baseball memorabilia. It's perfect for both the classic baseball collectibles enthusiasts and devoted fans as well. Did I mention all 30 teams are available now? Of course I did, so go out and get it. And today you can enjoy 10% off all officially licensed MLB MOVA globes. That's when you use the code BT10. That is B as in boy, T as in Tom, 10. Go order your globes now with the link in the description and enjoy. We always enjoy it when our buddy Jeff Passan is on with us. Well, last week he was on the Baseball Barbiecast podcast, and he said that the Red Sox are talking to a pair of left-handers out there, Blake Snell and Max Fried. Do you think that the Boston Red Sox this offseason in free agency are going big fish hunting?
I do, because there's a ton of quotes out there that are, by reputable people like the manager. And, I think Scott Boras, you could take what he says with a grain of salt a little bit, because he's obviously playing the psyche of people and wants the best for his clients. But here's a direct quote from Scott Boras. In our meetings, the Red Sox are definitely letting us know that ownership is committed. They want to secure high-level players, and that they're definitely planning on being very active in the free agent market. I mean, it's a direct quote from a guy that, has meetings with these guys. So, yeah, I do think they will be all in. I do think they're going to be in on some of these big starting pitchers. And they've needed to do that for a while. They've needed to go all in and bring in some talent, as they've seen themselves fall back in that division. They have to get back. This is a proud franchise, proud fan base that they have to do something to get back there. They have a good young core, guys that have come up and have really established themselves. I think not only are we going to see the Red Sox be players on the free agent market going after, I think both offense and starting pitching, and bullpen help. Like, I think they have needs kind of everywhere, but I think will be active on the trade market as well, Chris. I think this is going to be a very fascinating offseason for them, and I think they could end up making a ton of moves, and that Red Sox roster that we saw last year might look completely different entering 2025.
Well, last week we asked the question, which team needs to kind of wake up and do something? And my answer was the Boston Red Sox, that they're really only paying 4 guys until Pivetta accepts a qualifying offer, and we're not so sure that he will. So
apparently he's not, which is crazy. That's what they're saying.
I know. So the 4 guys they're paying are Rafael Devers, Trevor Story, Lucas Giolito, who, by the way, is the latest guest on the Rose rotation. We talked to him about whether or not they're going to add like his buddy Max Fried, and you could see his answer coming up. And there's one other player that they're paying, and off the top of my head, I can't remember who it was. But the point is that they're not paying a ton of guys out there. So go do it, right? They've kind of been teasing Red Sox fans. Hey, we're really going all in. And then they don't do much of anything. So they kind of owe it. Like, I feel like all they are is they've become a vehicle for Netflix, right? They followed them all around last season. That'll be coming out. They just did a special on, the '04 team that came. We got to stop living in the past with that. Like, those are great moments.
Yeah.
And then you win again in '07. That's cool. They win again in 2013. That's awesome. And they do it in 2018. Well, since then, all they've done is trade a future Hall of Famer in Mookie Betts, and they've been okay. That's not good enough for Boston fans. That ain't going to fly. And sitting around waiting for all these guys to grow up together, that's not what it's about with prospects. How many times a year do we mention that with prospects, it's not just about planting them and seeing them grow in your outfield at Fenway Park. It's about sending them on their merry way, letting them grow on their own, and you getting back established players at the major league level that can get you from being a 500 team. Yes, caller.
What is the leeway that a team gets after winning a World Series? I have a
great question.
Yeah, I have a buddy of mine, San Francisco Giants fan, and he'll be like, all he would say is, "Well, the Giants have won 3 championships in my lifetime. That's more than the Dodgers have won in your guys' lifetime." And I said, "Hey, his name's Kevin. Shout out K-Flow." I said, "Listen, yeah, shout out. You get 10 years, bro. You get 10 years for your championships, because they won 3 in how many years? What was the years?
3 and 5 seasons.
Was it
10,
12, 14, right?
Yep.
I said, it's over. Now you can't brag about those World Series anymore because it's over. So I gave him 10 years, but I feel like I only did that because they were so stacked close together. The Red Sox have kind of mirrored that, where they won in 04, 07,
13
and 18. So they've won a ton, but how much does that give them grace to be an 81 and 81 team? I think for the Red Sox fans, it's already over. Like, that's great, man. We won some World Series. Like, thank you so much. But they're much more demanding in my mind than a San Francisco Giants fan would be. So it's been how many years now? 7 years since their last World Series?
Will be next year, yeah. Well, it's a great question, and I think it's fan base dependent, right? If a team like Cleveland, well, the Cubs, go ask the Cubs fans, right? 108 years. How long is the
It's over. You can't be still freaking caring about 2016 or whatever the heck that was. You can't.
What do you mean?
That's insane.
Oh, I totally disagree with that. That changed families, lives.
Sure. But now what? You're just going to show up to the park and be like, "Hey guys, like, we won in 2016. Let's have a good time." I don't think so. It's ridiculous.
Well, I think it's okay to have expectations on a given season, but you can your default mechanism can be, well, we did win in 2016. So I did see that, and it gave me some of the best times of my life. Really? You don't? It's a great question. You know what? Leave a comment on that. That's one I want to comment on.
Yeah.
And what is the grace period?
It is franchise dependent for sure.
By the way, I do think that the Red Sox, there are some people who are like, well, they're not going to spend. Let's remember, they gave David Price, what was it, $214 or $217 million 9 years ago on the free agent market? So
I think they'll be one of the more active teams this offseason.
And that could be fun. Stay in the American League East. The Orioles moving the dimensions of their left field wall yet again. All right, guys, pull it back in a little bit. Oh, chop it down too. Are you on board with this, or is it getting annoying?
I am on board with it. That was one of the most silly decisions. Why did they do that? What was the point of that? I understood that it was like, a short left field, and they wanted to help the pitchers out a little bit, but they went too drastic. I'll always go back to when Target Field opened. 2010, it was getting built in 2009. And at that time, the mainstays in that lineup were Justin Morneau and Joe Mauer. And they decided to put a 30-foot wall in right field, 2 left-handed hitters. And those guys were flabbergasted. Like, why would we do that? And I think the Twins still regret that decision. I think they still regret that decision. So this one is crazy, man. I'm glad they're moving it back in. It didn't make any sense. I thought it looked bad. It didn't even look good. They didn't do anything. If it was aesthetically pleasing, maybe that would change my mind a little bit, but it wasn't. So I'm happy that they're doing it. I mean, the Mets did a similar thing when they opened Citi Field. It was, the left field fence was way too far. They moved it back in. I think it's good. I actually give them credit for making this decision to move it back in, because sometimes it's hard. You don't want to say, "Oh, we made a bad decision," but they realized that it was stupid, and now they're trying to fix it. So I'm good with it.
Yeah, I mean, what do they need? The league approval? Do they have to turn in their dimensions 3 seasons ahead of time? No. Go change that shit.
It would be awesome if a team just said, like, screw Fenway, I'm building the monster, and just build it bigger, like 5 feet bigger.
5? No. If you're going to
10
go
feet,
for it,
whatever, yeah.
you have to make it like 68 feet. Let's really see.
Just get it up there.
And then start giving shit away to players who actually hit it over the monster. Like extra stuff. It could be an extra run if you hit the home run over the wall.
I think that would be hilarious. How about this? I want to put a massive wall in center field, so big batter's eye. But it's close. It's, let's make it 330 to center, but it's a massive wall.
Now, is that hard to do? Is that hard to hit it dead center, a massive wall?
Yeah.
How high would be too high? Are we talking
I don't
40
know.
feet?
I haven't even really
40
thought
feet?
about this. I just said it out loud, and it sounds like an amazing idea to me.
Okay. What was the furthest ball you hit?
I have no idea.
Come on.
I don't. I really don't.
You really nailed it, and you were like, God damn, that felt good.
In my mind, it was a homer in Petco. I freaking crushed this 3-2 pitch. It was like second deck, left center. Huge. But I don't think that was my farthest homer by like StatCast. I honestly don't know.
Okay.
Hey, second deck in Yankee Stadium too, left field.
I know you did.
Big boys.
That away, brother. All right, want to thank SeatGeek for sponsoring today's edition of Baseball Today. Baseball season's over, but you know what's never over? Going out and enjoying yourself, getting a couple of ducats to a sporting event or a concert. And SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball. They want to help you out. They're always looking to help your wallet. They rate every ticket on a scale of 1 to 10, so you're knowing exactly when you're getting the best deal possible. Plus, they color-code it. Look for the green dot. That means a good deal. Stay away from the red dot. That means it's a bad deal. Like if you're shopping for, let's say, floor seats to an NBA game, and you see a red dot on the floor, you're like, wait a second, that can't possibly be. Yes, it can be. It doesn't mean that the seat's not good. It just means it's not the best deal for you. And SeatGeek is looking out for your wallet, particularly during the upcoming holiday season. And did you know that everybody can use the code TODAY10 for 10% off any tickets on SeatGeek, whether you're a brand new customer or returning customer? Doesn't matter how many times you bought tickets using SeatGeek before, Today 10 is going to get you 10% off your next order. So grab that phone of yours, open up the SeatGeek app, or download it if you haven't used it before. Add the code TODAY10 to your account. Do not wait. Do it now, because this offer is only available for a limited time. The code is TODAY10 for 10% off your order. All right, we get to what might be the most interesting story of the offseason until guys start signing and getting traded and all that sort of stuff. The Pirates made a tweet about the Paul Skeens rookie card. It is a 1-of-1. It is signed with the patch that he wore on his uniform the first day he hit the big leagues, and then he took it off, and now it's formed out there in card form. So the Pirates were like, we want that thing. So we're going to offer you a ton for it. You get season tickets behind home plate for the next 30 years. You get to meet and greet with Paul Skeens. You get a couple of autographed jerseys. You could have that fun softball game for you and 30 of your closest friends. You have a private tour of Pirate City down at their spring training facility, and they say, and more unique experiences. So they're offering a lot for this. In fact, Paul Skeens' girl, Livy Dunn, the social media sensation, one-up. She says, let's raise the stakes. The person who finds that card can sit with me at a Pirates game in my suite. But then somebody swooped in and tried to turn this into a business decision. Yeah, Ken Golden, who's the guy who helped that dude get over $4 million for the Shohei ball, said, hey, email me before you run to the Pirates because I can get you some serious dough. On a scale of 1 to 10, how fascinated are you with this story?
Like a 4, I think.
Really?
I'll tell you why. I agree. I would go to Ken Golden with this card if I got it and try to sell it because first of all, where behind home plate? That's what I want to know. Let's get more specific there with where behind home plate because that could mean upper deck behind home plate.
Oh, good call.
Right? I need to know specifics. The meet and greet with Paul Skeens, cool. I like that. 2 autographed jerseys you can buy with money. The softball game for 30 at PNC Park you can buy with money. Those tickets you can buy with money. Meeting Livy Dunn. I mean, I'd rather just
Careful.
I'd rather just have the check, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's my decision. I think it's cool they're doing this, and obviously I think there's other companies that have like hopped on because now it's like, hey, they added on to this, so it becomes like this hype train, and everyone's looking for engagement, which is kind of why I'm down on it, like 4 out of 10. So I feel like it's just like getting ridiculous now. So yeah, It's not like it's the Willy Wonka gold freaking leaf or something, whatever it is, golden ticket. Yeah. Take the money, people.
Yeah. I want to see how the story ends. Am I refreshing my social media every 17 seconds to see what the latest is?
I would say I don't know what it would auction for, but I think let's just say let's put a number on it. Let's say it sells for, and I could be way off. Let's say it sells for $500,000. What would you rather have?
Season tickets for 30 years if you love the Pirates. Let's say that you can negotiate it so they're good seats. Maybe not the best, maybe not row 1, but they're good seats. Let's say they're row 8, 12, whatever. Still very good seats in a beautiful ballpark, by the way.
Yeah, but most likely a Pirates fan is not going to be the guy that pulls this card.
That's true.
It's not like it's only Pirates fans trying to get this card. I mean, it's going to be some guy from Iowa. I don't know. Shout out Iowa.
Maybe you could negotiate for seats behind home plate, and the Pirates flip the bill for, let's say you're a Royals fan.
Take the money, people.
Yeah, let's boil it down to what it's really all about here.
Take the money.
And by the way, I like cards, I really do, and the patch seems pretty cool.
So you got to buy a box of cards for like $250 to really have a chance at, and it's a very small chance, obviously.
Well, I'm sure we're going to hear about it over the next 2 weeks. It's floating out there somewhere. It was released, so somebody's finding this thing.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes these things they might not find this for 10 years, bro.
Come 10 years.
That's what happens. People will buy these boxes, specifically in years where there's a big rookie. And they'll, instead of opening them, they'll sell the box unopened because there's a chance. So once you, it's worth more. Like all those boxes, of 1990 whatever card, you're trying to get a certain rookie card. The chance is almost worth more than. Well, it's not worth more than the card, but you know what I'm saying.
No, I understand. Once you drive the car off the lot, it's devalued.
Yeah.
I understand that part of it all.
Will I buy a box of cards to look for it?
That's a good question.
How about this? For the show, I'll buy a box of cards and we'll look for it. What if I hit it on the show?
It would be incredible.
And then just rip it.
Yeah, you know what? Open a pack a day. That's what we're going to start doing in the off season. Time to open.
All right,
the search for Paul Skeens. I'll go.
John Boy Media. No, the company is to pay for this.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Take that to our accounting office.
Jake.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Look what we found. Woo.
I crushed this thing.
Okay. Get going,
that is a bomb.
Oh, whoa, is there somebody there with a Plouffe head?
Yeah, they're my buddies.
I
crushed that ball.
Look how thick you are.
I know. I miss that guy.
Were you still in good shape, or did you have what I've got?
No, I was in good shape. Look at me. Oh my gosh.
Got some
no showboating. No showboating. Yeah, show it again one more time for the people. That's a good swing right there.
You miss it?
No, I have a great life.
Yeah, you do. Life. By the way, Dan Rourke.
Nice job,
good
Dan.
work.
Hey, you know what?
Ask.
He's trying to make some things up to me. I like that.
Oh, why? What happened?
No, because of the our program always failing us at the beginning of the
Oh.
show and me yelling.
All
Love you,
right,
Dan.
we're gonna go again on Friday once we wrap up awards week. Best of luck to all those people who are partaking. Rookie of the Year is Monday, Manager of the Year Tuesday, Cy Young winners on Wednesday, MVP on Thursday, and we'll break it all down, tell you what it all is. Hopefully, there's some transactions as well. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, who hit a home run by finding the home run, and the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe, I am Chris Rose. We will see you Friday here on Baseball Today.